Welcome back to Kris versus Everybody. I'm your host, Kris, and this is the podcast where I talk about everything and anything, unedited, uncensored, and unapologetic. No filters, no fluff. This episode is brought to you by Crisscross Studios and the Crisscross Studios YouTube channel. Go ahead and click subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new episode. And if you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, hit that follow button to stay up to date with every new episode as it drops. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Now let's get into it. Because this week, let me tell you, I have never been so disappointed in a university and a particular head coach than I am about to talk about right now with the University of Michigan and their football coach, Sherrone Moore. Now, y'all saw the title, and I'm actually very shocked, disappointed, like definitely caught off guard. This whole thing caught me off guard to the point where I was like, damn, do I even want to watch Michigan football anymore? Do I want to watch college football? Do I even care about sports anymore? Because this whole thing with Sherrone Moore and the university, like the University of Michigan, literally, I want to say they tried to cover up, but they were really trying to investigate this man. They knew it was happening, but didn't do anything until now. And that was before we found out what actually happened, which was the reason why I'm like, do I really want to watch Michigan football anymore? Because having an inappropriate relationship with a staffer is one thing, but simple assault, going over to her house and threatening her and doing stuff with a knife, that's a whole nother realm of, okay, fuck you. At first, I'm like, okay, he made an irresponsible decision and he'll probably be fired for that because it is a, a position of power. You're not supposed to have inappropriate relationships with a staffer, which it was his executive assistant, but which I'm okay with him being fired. He shouldn't have did it. My thing is, you got arrested because you went over to her house to threaten her and go after her and all that stuff. That's when I draw the line. So let's talk about something that a lot of people want to brush off as no big deal, but it actually is a big deal. The actions of Sherrone Moore at the University of Michigan. Because when you're the head coach of a major program, especially a program with the platform, the prestige, and the power of the University of Michigan, your decisions aren't just your decisions. They have ripple effects. They set a tone and they tell the world what the standard really is. First off, let's be real. College football is not just a sport. It's a billion-dollar industry. It's national television. It's recruiting pipelines. It's politics. It's money. It's influence. And when you're in a leadership position within that kind of machine, your integrity is not optional. Sherrone Moore's leadership position called for him to have integrity. Integrity in any sport. You could be coaching Pee Wee. If you're the head coach or the president of that league, integrity is not optional. It is mandatory. Actually, while we're here, let's look up the definition of integrity. Integrity, looking it up on dictionary.com. Integrity means having the strong moral principles and being honest and consistent in your actions. In other words, doing the right thing even when no one is watching. In simple terms, it's honesty, telling the truth, consistency, which is actions that match your words, and this is the most important part, ethical behavior. Yes, people are talking about, oh, it was consensual. Yes, it was consensual. However, when you're a head coach and you have a staffer, you're not supposed to have inappropriate relations, i.e., have intercourse with your staffers. Ethical behavior means choosing what's right over what's easy. Sherrone Moore did not. His irresponsible behavior cost him his job. And maybe his family. And maybe the rest, like his whole career just got delineated. His whole career got derailed because of this, because he couldn't keep his dick in his pants. So when Sherrone Moore made the choices he made, those choices that crossed lines, broke trusts, and put the program's reputation at risk, it wasn't just a mistake. It wasn't just a heat of the moment decision. It was a fundamental failure of judgment. And the people trying to downplay it as if it was some minor slap on the wrist thing. No. Not when young athletes are looking to you as the example. Not when your decisions impact scholarships, careers, and an entire credibility of a program. Yes, he went 18-8. Yes, he was 2-1 against Ohio State. Yes, he beat Alabama in a bowl game last year. He went 9-3 this year with a freshman quarterback. His coaching on the field is not what we're questioning here. We're talking about what he does off the field. And look, nobody's perfect. All right? No one is perfect. We always talk about culture. Coaches love that word. They even use it in press conferences. We're building a culture. We've got culture of accountability. But culture isn't something you say, it's something you live. And your actions are the culture. So when a leader violates that culture, the message that sends is very huge. It says that winning matters more than ethics. Winning matters more than rules. Winning matters more than responsibility. But there's a difference between imperfections and patterns. There's a difference between making a mistake and misconduct. And when the misconduct is tied to competitive advantage, that undermines the entire sport. It disrespects the players, the staff, the conference, and every single team that you line up against. The University of Michigan is one of the biggest brands, not a college, not a sports program, the biggest brands in the country. You don't just represent Ann Arbor. The University of Michigan represents college athletics at the national stage. So yes, what Sherrone Moore did is serious. And yes, it deserves more than just a shrug and a let's just move on type of story. Because if we want real accountability in sports, it has to start from the top. If we want college athletes to take rules seriously, their leaders have to take them seriously first. Let's talk about what a head coach really is to a college program, because a lot of people think a head coach is just the play caller, the motivator, the guy yelling on the sidelines. But no, being a head coach is so much bigger than that. You are the CEO of a multi-million-dollar organization. You are the culture setter. You're the rule maker, the face of the program, the person, everyone, from the star quarterback down to the student interns, which you had a relationship with. That's why we're talking about this today. If you would have just had an inappropriate relationship, you would have just been fired and you would have went on with your day. But no, you had to try to cover it up, go over to her house, simple assault with a knife, and now you're in prison or now jail. He might get bailed out, he might not, depending on, who wants to bail him out. But every decision you make becomes the blueprint for everyone under you. Every action sets the tone. And because of that, there are actions you simply cannot cross. Lines that aren't even just written in policy, but in common sense. Basic professionalism. And one of the clearest, most obvious lines. Do you not have relationships with your staffers or subordinates? You don't. Stop having relationships with people that are under you. That goes for all the coaches. And if you're married, which Sharon Moore was married, why are you why are we cheating? Why? Why? It's not, it depends. It's not, well, they're adults. It's not, but it was consensual. No, that's not how power systems work. When you're the head coach, you hold enormous influence. Okay? There is an automatic power imbalance. And because of that, any romantic or intimate relationship is inappropriate, unprofessional, and dangerous to the integrity of the entire program. It creates favoritism, real or perceived. It fractures team culture. It opens the door to lawsuits, scandals, and investigations, which we're doing right now in the month of December of 2025. It makes every staff member who works under you wonder if their job is based on merit or proximity, or in this case, if you can get on your knees. But let's get real. You can't run a program based on discipline, commitment, and respect when you violate the rules you expect everyone else to follow. That's just real. Players get punished for being 2 minutes late. Staff get written up for violating travel policies. Assistants get fired for embarrassing the university. But the head coach, the person with the highest responsibility, is supposed to be exempt? Absolutely not. A head coach must be the one person who is beyond reproach because everyone else's behavior flows downhill. If the top is messy, then the bottom doesn't stand a chance. And this is where people underestimate the head coach role. It's a leadership job. It's about ethical conduct, protecting your staff, not breaking the rules. Because when the head coach crosses the line and gets involved with a subordinate, it tells the world that the rules don't matter. If the head coach is supposed to be the steady hand, the adult in the room, the person who knows better, this isn't about drama and gossip. It's about professionalism. No program is above scrutiny, especially the University of Michigan. No coach is above consequences. And if we're going to keep calling college football a brotherhood, a family, a standard, then someone has to protect that standard, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it means calling out the very people who wear the maize and blue. Because leadership isn't about being perfect. It's about being responsible. And the responsibility is exactly what was missing here with Sharon Moore. So as we wrap this up, here's a takeaway from this episode of Kris versus Everybody. Leadership means being bigger than the moment. It means saying no to the things that could damage the people, the program, and the trust placed in you. It means remembering that the job isn't just about winning games. It's about honoring the role of head coach of the University of Michigan football program. Programs succeed when leaders set the tone. They fall apart when leaders forget the weight of the chair that they sit in. So thanks for tuning in today. I hope you got something out of this. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, and make sure that you follow the show so you don't miss the next episode. Until next time, hold the standard, everybody. Protect your people and lead like someone's always watching. See you guys next time.